Okay, I want to show how you can make your new partitions on a newly installed drive mount automatically at boot time in Linux. So I have my new solid state drive installed, and if I look down my list here in my file manager, you'll see that my new partition excuse me, my data partition is listed as a device. Watch what happens if I click on it. It mounts that partition and it's usable, okay? But the thing is, when you do that, it leaves the mounted partition icon, if you will, on your desktop, and I don't want that. Let me show you something. You see how in my desktop settings, I have this turned on, but it's by default turned on, mounted to display the mounted drives. Yeah, you want that because if you plug in a device like a camera or whatever, your phone or anything, thumb drive, you want it to mount it. And you want it to be available on your desktop, So that's not how I want my system to work, right? Let me unmount it. Come on. Unmount. Okay. The way that I like to use it, I like to create a data partition. What happened there? I like to create a data partition and an export partition. I have a lot of computers, and to keep them in sync, I like to have a separate export partition and have it added here so that I can drag a file and drop it on that location, and the default action is to copy it. Since export is its own partition, the default action will always be to copy to it, not to move files to it. And I like to do the same thing with my data partition. I like to have it here so that every time I use it, it doesn't get mounted and shown on the desktop. Okay, I think I think that's clear, okay? So what the first thing I need you to do is you want to open gparted. I gotta reach around you. What we need is something called a UUID number. Now see, this is my data partition. I'll highlight it, choose information, and there's my UUID number, okay? Copy it. Click 3 times, right click, copy, okay? You'll be using that information. Okay, leave gparted closed. 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 Okay, so now you've copied that information. I need to show you what I did, just for to make things go quicker here. This is some text I'll be adding to a file, and so will you. Okay. Here's that UUID number I just copied, okay? So now the next step is to open your terminal. Type the following command: sudo xed, you can read it, /et/fstab. Give it your password. The first thing you'll need to do, save your original fstab file. Please save it as fstab-old. Okay? I've already done that, but I'll just replace it. Okay. So now then, you see we have elevated privileges. You're operating as root right now. So now what you want to do is copy the following line into that file. That UUID number, okay? I'm just going to copy it. Well, yeah, I'll copy it. The first thing you should do is add a comment, and that starts with a hash. Hash space. I can't type behind the camera. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, that explains what the following text will do. I gotta take my glasses off. That's what I can't see. So now you want to add that UUID command, right? Or that UUID text. And what you'll want to do, okay, one space. What do you want it to be mounted as? I want it to be mounted as data. Okay, 15 spaces. X4. 4 spaces. And I'm just going to copy the text. I don't want to keep typing it right. It doesn't make sense. Matter of fact, I'm just going to go like this. I should have done that at the beginning. Okay, so here's your comment. Here's the UUID number that you copied out of gparted. And then you want it to be called this. I could call that partition bozo, and that's what it'll appear as after you reboot. We'll call it data, 15 spaces, ext4, because that's my file system, 4 spaces, this text, errors equal remount -ro space 0. Okay, 7 spaces, numeral 1, new line, the number none. Okay, it sounds worse than it is. It really does, man. You know, this is a number you copied, this is what you want it called, this is the type of your file system, and then the rest I don't understand, quite frankly. Well, I do. If there's an error, you want it to the OS to remount the partition as read-only. That's what it's saying. But anyway, let's save that. Yeah. Yeah, I did that. I just rewrote over my fstab.old file. It's okay. We'll fix that. Fstab. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, that's our original fstab file. We'll save that as fstab.old. Fstab old. Okay. All right. Now you got to reboot. And I'll show you the difference. I'll show you the result of that. But that's the way I like to use my Linux system. I like at least 2 additional partitions. One called data, and that's where I keep all of my data, and one called export. And that's what I use that for. A smaller partition to export files to. I could show you. Now I haven't. Okay, let's see if our changes took effect. Open your file manager. The first thing you'll notice is that it doesn't see that data partition as a device, as a mountable device anymore. And I'll show you why. Go up a level, and there it is. It's not mounting it as a device because it's already been mounted as a partition. And so, okay, we're almost done. I want it here. So all you have to do, drag it and drop it over where you want it. And now you'll see that I can copy like the C series. I can't speak, but I can copy that over to my data partition. Click on the data partition here. There it is. And you don't have to have the damn data partition auto-mounted. Well, it's auto-mounted, but you don't have to mount it every time you want to use it. Okay, does that make sense? I'll show you one last thing here. Oh no, I can't see the type. I honestly can't. Oh man, typing around the phone's a nightmare. So you'll see when I cloned my operating system drive, my old one, it was an 80 gig drive, and CloneZilla cloned it to an 80 gig partition, which it created by itself, and it left the rest of that drive as unallocated free space. So I created that data partition. If I wanted to resize it, I could, but I think everybody knows how to do that. You know, if you don't, just right click, choose resize, and well, I'll let you watch because I want a 10 gigabyte export partition. So if I subtract 10 gigabytes from that number, the new size should be 157,639. And it won't let me. I wonder why. Because I was typing in the wrong box? No, it won't let me. I wonder why. I'll look into that. Anyway, 73.